Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the International Wildcard Invitational. I'm Max Atlas Anderson, joined by Jake Spawn Tiberi. I've reattached my brain just in time for this game. Of course, it's Brazil taking on Latin America. KLG are going to be up against INTZ, and INTZ, arguably one of the most, I guess, exciting teams heading into this one. Favorites coming through for a lot of the other teams that were heading into the tournament, but KLG have had a rough time, and INTZ had a difficult day one. Yeah,
we've already seen KLG play today. Unfortunately, not able to pick up the win in their first match coming through there. Bangkok Titans just proving too much, and you think that INTZ, they're also one of the stronger teams in this tournament right now, only losing to the Chiefs, I believe, in game one. Actually, no, they lost to Hard Random as well, so they've dropped 2 games so far. With this, they can clinch their way into the playoffs as well, so a very important game. But if they lose, they go down to that 3-3 margin, and that's a very precarious place to find yourself.
Yeah, 3-3 is a little bit frightening here because a lot of these teams will be falling out with that scoreline. We'll see whether it is going to be, of course, this one coming through here, because KLG, they might be able to just go back to some comfort picks, find some style, and they've been scrimming against a whole lot of Brazilian lineups as well. We have heard this about the KLG team, and that is something that they've been able to do. Maybe they understand the meta a little bit more coming over from Brazil.
Yeah, it might be a comfort thing. Remember, KLG also were able to pick up the 1 win against Hard Random, which is a pretty impressive team to take out in this tournament. So they've proven that they can come up with the massive upsets already. This one would definitely be the case with how INTZ have been playing after that day one. They're really gone onto the offensive. Their jungler as well, Revolta, has started picking up Lee Sin Rek'Sai only and just destroying people on it. So really, this game tells us a lot. I feel out of every single game, bar the ones of who actually gets into the playoffs, this shows us whether INTZ will go in there with the CIS as well as Bangkok Titans as being the favorites in this, kind of like dominating the top 3 spots, or whether they're more down in that second tier, because we've seen that the CIS region and Bangkok, they seem to be right now very dominant.
Yeah, well, this is true, and this is something we weren't expecting moving into this tournament. One of my favorite things about this kind of wildcard tournament is the fact that it's exactly that. These are wildcard teams. It's very hard to do power rankings for these guys, which you saw a lot of us getting things very, very wrong.
Yeah, so for those watching at home, I'm going to get there before Atlas does. I put Bangkok last in my power rankings.
And I put Detonation Focus Me 4th.
The reason I did it is they went 0-3 in their final against Saigon Fantastic 5, and they were able to come through there. So there's... Thank you, the graphic with my beautiful face at Bangkok Titans.
Oh, man.
I also had Hard Random 4th. So one of my teams, at least, is not making the playoffs. I can't get everyone in.
Yeah, and KLG in the 5th spot. All of us putting them there. I believe that they should be a little bit further down when all of us basically have Hard Random at the bottom.
Smithy, he put Hard Random 2nd last, and they were the first team to qualify. So go hate on him a little bit. Stop throwing it at me.
I believe most of us put Hard Random at about there
I had them
well.
like 4th or something, 5th maybe. So. Yeah,
okay.
4th. So,
whoa, look at you.
I actually watched those games. Hard Random are good, man. I like that team.
I'm very well aware. They're at 4-2. They're looking pretty to head through towards the playoffs.
Yeah, so I don't know. Coming into this one, a little bit weird. But if we get into this game, INTZ, they've shown that they're very comfortable playing mid-game. Yang on the Rumble, he was able to solo out a Nara in one of those games. He has a beautiful laning phase on that champion that were also able to really take it to, I think it was Besiktas, with energy falling very low against the LeBlanc coming through from Tockers. So they're willing to play like mid-game centric to a T. And if you are able to build the leads that INTZ has been able to do, or INTZ coming through, it really has snowballed their leads. So maybe they've shown that on this League of Tank patch, the 5.7, where Sejuani, Gragas, all these huge guys in the top lane like Hecarim, like Shyvana or King, that they are the guys that can take the early advantages and kind of snowball it to a victory.
Yeah, we haven't necessarily seen this play style coming through very much at all on this patch. So maybe throwing a little bit of a curveball, a little bit of a surprise through to a lot of these teams that aren't used to playing for the early game anymore, because that's how it's evolved. That's how League of Legends is played at the moment. And when you are a team that's able to mix it up and change the focus and force you to play to their play style, that is something incredibly powerful in a tournament like this.
Yeah, it certainly is. And we have to throw it out there again. These guys are the top teams from their region. If you can get a good, solid early game advantage against them, they're not used to playing from that far behind. And INTZ has really shown that in the game they won. When they start picking up these objectives, teams keep trying to fight them, and then they keep running over the top. You can't run through Yang's equalizers. They're just too good.
No.
Toka's was exploding people. Revolta was going nuts. He was repetitively ganking. People aren't used to being camped that way. They're used to being able to mechanically outplay. And they just really ran away with some wins yesterday. The one that was really impressive was the one against Besiktas, because I don't think anyone expected Turkey to go 2-3 so far in their group. Their home crowd, of course, coming through.
Yeah.
And everyone put them as the favorite.
Yeah, and a lot of these teams moving forward as well. You've seen a whole lot of the videos, ladies and gentlemen. Besiktas, definitely one of those teams that was being feared, especially Hard Random. Of course, we heard their interview saying, look, the Turkish lineup are looking phenomenal and they're really, really scary, etc. But sitting at 2-3, it's not looking that way at the moment.
Yeah, it certainly isn't. They have a chance to actually miss playoffs if they are,
if the
Chiefs are able to win their last game coming up later on today against the Bangkok Titans. So everything on the line. Besiktas, once again, one of those teams that unfortunately in a situation where they just have to keep winning and hope other teams lose, which is a horrible situation to be in going into a playoff run.
Yeah, it's very, very frightening, but we are going to have this game coming forward. Of course, Brazil taking on Latin America, and we'll see whether KLG are able to sort of get over the jitters, because their last game they were unable to make committal plays, but look, we'll see whether it's represented here in the Champ Select, because they can now pick up some power picks. Vladimir and Zed are going to be taken off the board here for INTZ. They're losing a lot of mid-lane picks, as Hecarim Azir going to be taken away as well. Hecarim could potentially be a mid-lane pick. Often in that top lane as Azir going to be removed. So 3 mid-lane bans so far.
Yeah, it certainly looks to be that way. Tokas, he still has a LeBlanc available though, so that would be one that I would expect maybe KLG to take a serious look at. The Zed ban is, I guess, a respect thing towards Reggie. Is actually looks like INTZ, they lost a ban, and LeBlanc will be the last one away from KLG, so they automatically lock in the Gragas on the side for Revolta. A little bit more late game. We saw him go very mid game yesterday, but it looks like Julio Stito, he's going to go full out on the mid game and lock in that Rek'Sai.
Yeah, he is hovering it for now. Helio does have some options down, and I would actually not be surprised if Helio locked away the Rumble. He's a Rumble player as well. Looking at a Swain, not entirely sure whether that one's going to be coming down, but Yang, he looked brilliant on the Rumble. Why not just pick it away?
Yeah, exactly right. It serves a double purposes. You have a knock-up to keep people on top of a Rumble ultimate already, so some good CC. Also does some good mid-game damage. You're committing very much to that composition, but they've sat on Swain for a very long time, so I'm going to say that's almost a serious pickup at this point.
Well, I think it most definitely is a serious pickup, because Swain, one of my favorite champions to watch, but it is going to be switched away to Thresh here for Bear. He has landed some fantastic death sentences. His Morgana left a little bit to be desired, but his Thresh has been strong. INTZ now thinking about their picks. Draven would be incredibly exciting by Macau, but early days, still 46 seconds to make up their minds, and see what Revolta does land on here as Toka's thinking about a Cho'Gath. And INTZ, they'd be changing it up because, of course, they do now have the Gragas. They have the opportunity to go mid to late game instead of this early game power picking. But we'll see what the decision is going to be once they do decide to lock in these picks, because they have been looking at that Draven for quite some time. We'll see whether Revolta does lock that in.
Yeah, they certainly haven't. They've been sitting on these picks for a very long time, so we'll have to see what exactly they want to run here. Cassidy, a very strong pick in the current meta, although blind picking it with the likes of Orianna available. I don't know much about that decision. Swapping over now to an Ahri, much more mid-game focus, kind of fills the same role as LeBlanc. That's locked in, as well as Sion at the last moment. So all of a sudden, tanky top laner and a pick mid laner coming through for INTZ.
Yeah, and a very versatile jungler coming down as well, going to get massively tanky in the late game. And the front line from INTZ already terrifying coming through. And look, KLG now have the opportunity to pick away from that. They've seen both of the solo lanes, which gives them great opportunities. And I liked KLG picking up the support and jungler because it gives them a lot of flexibility at this stage.
Yeah, it certainly does. They'll be able to counterpick every single lane now nearly, because realistically they can take mid and top lane, leave their AD carry for last, and Thresh doesn't really win or lose very many lanes by himself, is very AD carry reliant. Although, yeah, I actually think that there's not much danger picking your mid and top laner here. They can take an AD if they want, although Kalista, that's a big risk because there's always a potential that some kill lane comes through. So they go with the Graves, they go with the Maokai.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Siver in the last second. They really want to be able to get this Maokai in amongst it. Of course, giving him a little bit more movement is going to be fantastic. Make sure he can get in range for that twisted advance into the back line and locking down an Ari. Something that's pretty difficult, makes it a little bit easier. Jockster has the opportunity to pick up the power pick support in the Janna. But early days, and we've seen that Ints really like to take their time in this pick ban phase.
Yeah, they certainly do. So let's not talk about that. We'll talk about the KLG lineup so far. They're waiting on a mid laner, but so far have very good engage coming through. You can speed up the Maokai, you can get Julio Cito into the team, be able to wreak some havoc. The problem is, who do you currently want to engage on? Because Ari going to be a very hard target to lock down, can dash away from you. Sion and Gragas, they're big tanky men. If you're engaging onto them, they're probably extremely happy, you would have to think.
Oh, yeah.
However, if they go with the Jinx, I'm going to be very worried for Jinx's lives because there is a very good chance that they just repetitively try and dive Macau as a duo.
Well, yeah, that's exactly right. I believe now that that Jinx has been locked in, a whole lot of red is now in the eyes of these divers.
Yeah, so they're able to get in there. They've got a very good late-game team fighting comp coming through with some pick coming through from Gragas as well as the Ari. You saw Spooks from the Chiefs last game able to use this Gragas to start up team fights with those flash ultimate engages. And Tockers, we've seen him so dominant on these mid lane assassins. Going to be interesting to see exactly what they get done here. Mid lane to come through last for Reggie. He's got the counter pick. His Zed's been taken away. His Vladimir's being taken away. Does he run something like a Xerath, although that's extremely risky, into an Ari?
Well, all of his top picks have been taken away. Like, he plays the Zed, Vladimir, and LeBlanc. They banned away LeBlanc just because Tockers has got a whole lot of work done on that champion as well. He now needs to sort of reach deep into his champion
This
pool.
is great. I love the Cassiopeia pickup. Just try and bully lanes. They've picked nearly every lane winning with the exception of Maokai here, who will go relatively even. Sivir Thresh is going to struggle against Jinx Janna, but if you get one favorable hook, even that lane turns in your favor because of the burst damage that can come through. So just try and crush early game KLG. Like the fact that they're getting behind their mid laner. Throw Reggie an aggressive mid and see exactly what you can get done.
Yeah, and Reggie does like to play aggressively as well, so you may as well put him there.
Yeah, and one fun fact coming through, if people do get Gromp Poison, you can just keep throwing your E out as Cassiopeia. So anytime someone hits Julio Cito late game,
Helio, pick up the smite.
Be very prepared for Reggie to go berserk.
Well, we'll see whether he is able to pick up those resets off the Gromp Poison, because that is a very exciting idea there. Don't even need to hit your skill shots if that comes through.
Yeah, exactly right. Just keep spamming E.
Too easy. Too easy indeed. That being said, I mean, you mentioned the fact that, you know, Zycro and Bear, Sivir and Thresh against Jinx Janna. Jinx, sort of a known counterpick to that Sivir, and I guess Sion and Maokai both do fairly well in that 2v1 situation. We'll see whether KLG are going to opt for a lane swap.
Yeah, they definitely can opt for a lane swap coming through there. The one thing that is to note, though, is that Jinx kind of wins lanes against Sivir when she has an aggressive support that can lay a CC. Zap, a very good tool against Sivir because she doesn't have any gap closers to get away. So she's not like a Corki that can Valkyrie over your flame chompers that come out. Something like a Thresh pairs up very well for Sivir for that reason because the lockdown is just so strong. However, what they do is late game, fantastic pill for your hyper carry. You have another BF sword through a shield, all that good stuff. It just means that the early game, a little bit more volatile. So there is a window for Sivir to win. It's not like a shutout lane like Nami, Jinx, another lane. That is a terrifying lane if you're a Sivir because all of a sudden you can't get away from the rockets. You're just getting slowed by the Tide Caller's Blessing. Once again, the layering of CC. So I like Janna Jinx late game. I don't like it as a laning tool.
Yeah, well, Janna in a lane generally not supposed to be winning in almost any of those matchups. We have seen it happen, though, ladies and gentlemen. And we are going to head on to the Rift here as INTZ going to be taking on KLG. Brazil against Latin America here. KLG's final match here. And INTZ, their final one as well. Looking to go even with Hard Random at that 4-2. And we'll see whether KLG can put a little bit of a spanner in the works.
Yeah, so we see very aggressive start coming out of INTZ. They've stacked up as 5 after Janna was able to get a ward down at the entrance of their jungle. So they're going for the invade through here. See whether they can get it done. As we see
something
around the corner, KLG trying to go for the mind game.
Yeah, not sure what they're waiting for. Of course, we know that there is absolutely no one in the vicinity. He's going to be Reggie going for just a one-man wander, slithering throughout the jungle there. But KLG finally with a 5-man stack. No vision at all from INTZ, so they have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, so what they were hoping is that INTZ would actually invade on the blue side. They don't. They invade on the red side, and all of a sudden, KLG have no idea where anyone is. They don't know what lanes they're approaching. You can see people spamming recall animations. It looks like the lane swap will be secured. Worse yet, Reggie might even face check some members. We'll spot out Scion on that side of the map. And they will also secure the early invade coming through.
Sorry, I know it's very, very serious, but there are some backs being spammed. Gragas is going to start over on the opposing side of the map, though, taking down this red buff. Very aggressive. He's all alone, but just knows exactly where everyone is, or mostly where everyone isn't, as there are so many deep wards coming through from INTZ. So this is going to be a successful steal on the red. Just going to smite that one away. We'll see whether he takes the little camps, as Yang is going to die, but ladies and gentlemen, that was intentional. The puppy's going to suffer the wrath of this dead Scion.
Yeah, so able to get in there, gets the execute, gets an early death, but will be able to pick up a camp for himself. Maokai can do the same, already has done so actually, picked up the wolves, so we'll be able to go now into top lane. And we're going to have the standard lane swap coming through. We see this a lot with Maokai Scion. I think Scion's a little bit better of a 2v1 laner just because he can put that shield on, max the decimating smash. He shoves out waves so hard. It's impossible to shove that guy off CS unless you get aggressive really early on level 1 and 2. And AD carries aren't used to doing that, to be honest. They prefer to freeze the wave, get it zoning, try and get CS in when you can. If he's just able to pick up experience, he gets to the level 3 mark and he just crushes down minion waves.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. And decimating smash, now that it's getting leveled generally, as just based on the fact that that Roar of the Slayer has been nerfed just a little bit, so not as fun as a max.
Yeah, exactly right. The mana cost just went up so high, and if you're using it as your primary farming tool, which you have to in a 2v1 lane, it just is so hard to utilize to get all the CS. Decimating Smash, on the other hand, real easy. You just walk up to the minion wave, put your shield on, that Soul Furnace, yep, do that, and then hit it.
And it's hilarious to watch.
That was beautiful.
That was basically a perfect rendition of exactly how it works, right? Lean back a little bit and then fall over.
Perfect rendition. You're complimenting yourself a little bit too far there, Atlas.
I was being facetious, my friend.
I want some more effort put into a little bit of a Scion cosplay before I give you a perfect for that performance.
Okay. Well, look, let's just not continue. I'll do a lumberjack impersonation sometime later. Of course, my personal favorite skin.
Yeah, it chops down the tree as well.
Exactly. It's so good because Maokai Scion, such a common lane. Almost as good as Rumble burning down the tree in the top lane as well.
Exactly right. The thematic counter picks. As we take a look, the players actually all really comfortable here. They're just leaning back. No one looks overly worried going through here.
They look like they want to play some League of Legends.
Yeah, they certainly do. Happy to get into the game, which we will be getting to you shortly, guys. Sorry about the pause. But in a team fight situation, you see pretty good late game scaling coming through from INTZ. They've gone pretty much all in on that. They've got the Gragas, the Scion, as well as the Jinx in the late game. They've gone for a little bit more pick for Ari. As we take another little bit of a look at the standings, you see Bangkok Titans up there on the top. Chiefs currently sitting in third. They have won their head-to-head with INTZ. So if that is how they end up, which they can't because they each have to play another game, so good luck with that one. That's where it would finish. But if Chiefs and INTZ win their outlying games, we have that crazy four-way tie at the top of the brackets. And that will be the teams that go through. So if the favorites, although you'd probably call Bangkok Titans at this point, favorites over the Chiefs. So if favorites win and then the Chiefs upset, and realistically, Bangkok Titans are only playing for seeding at this point, so you think that they might not be willing to show everything in their last game.
That's a very good point that we haven't touched on just yet.
Yeah, I've been thinking about it a lot.
Yeah, I'm saying that we haven't spoken about it, Spawn. Not questioning your intelligence.
So that means that will be the locked-in slot for some tiebreakers.
Well, hopefully for any Chiefs fans there, the Bangkok Titans try their very exciting look, I don't know what strategy they're going to be running. Maybe Garen Shan bottom lane.
Yeah, exactly right. But then on the other side, if Chiefs, Ints lose and Besiktas are able to pick up a win, all of a sudden you have this crazy three-way tie for the tiebreaker of who gets into the playoffs with two teams. So it's going to be absolutely mental. There's games going everywhere, and that's, I guess, the beautiful thing about the round robin with 7 teams is that standings become so close and confined, especially when you have a day where everyone beat everyone. I mean, Chaos Latin Gamers took a game off hard random, just randomly yesterday. Really does throw everything into the works. That wasn't deliberate.
Yeah, I know, but it was awful, irrespective of whether you meant it or not. But yeah, well, exactly right. Hard random, looking pretty good heading through as far as their standings result is concerned. But Bangkok Titans are looking fantastic, and it's going to be really frightening for the Chiefs moving into their game. But let's get back to this one. Ints taking on KLG. KLG really wanting to have an effect on how this tournament bracket is going to work. Julius Tito, who was a fantastic Gragas earlier on, is going to be heading down. Some vertical jungling now going to be started off by Bear.
Yeah, so Bear actually prepped that one very early, tanked some shots, but that's going to put Julio Zito in a fantastic area where he'll be able to pick that up without much help coming through, get solo experience. Now Bear recalling, going into the top lane to help out Helior, who needs to be careful because there are a potential 4-member turret dive, and Sion, he has this cool mechanic where you can kill yourself and then still go for the dive.
Yeah. Although it is possibly going to give away first blood, he does do that.
Yeah, it gives away first blood, but what do you get in response? You get a kill, you zone off 2 minion waves, you pick up a turret for yourself. You know, I'm giving up first blood 10 out of 10 times if that is what I get in response.
That's why. All right, wondering why you're always feeding in our solo.
Oh, don't even go there, Atlas.
It's a pretty smooth excuse. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to use that one. Why did you die? Oh, no, so that I could deny minion waves, etc., etc. Not too bad.
I didn't know they lane swapped in bronze.
I'm not quite that bad, but you're pretty close. Zycro. Oh, my goodness. Speaking of ridiculous things.
Julio Zito, this is a triple kill. If we've seen anything, it's the fact that Rek'Sai can go off.
Yeah, he's going to bounce up a couple of members here. Gets exhausted, but he's going down so low. Does flash out of the way. Beautiful double play. Revolta, he's ignited. He's burning down, but not going to die. First blood to the Jinx in amongst it all. Picks up a double as the casual excitement comes down. Now has double buffs. Helior's going to die, and it is the horrific start for KLG as Macau has destroyed this early game.
But Jockster take a bow. First with the NATO, knocking up the Rek'Sai, then the perfectly placed exhaust.
We were mentioning the fact that Janna fantastic in lane very early on.
So Abel, that was a team fight. So very good team fighting support coming through there. And you see exactly why. The disruption and the exhaust was huge because Julio Zito all of a sudden couldn't get all that famous damage down that we're used to coming through from the Rek'Sai early on. Didn't get the auto attack reset through there because of the attack speed slow as well. And all of a sudden you have a 3-0-0 Jinx who is ready to take over a game in 5 minutes. And that's not what you're used to saying about a Jinx.
Yeah, well, this is true. But when you've got a BF sword at 5 minutes, things looking pretty damn good. 1,500 gold to lead. And that is actually meaningful here at 5 minutes into the game because that's a large percentage of the gold that has already been accrued.
And, you know, one of the times that Jinx starts outright winning lanes is when she picks up the BF sword.
All right.
And it's normally when about the 9-minute mark that you go back, get the first shop in, pick up your BF sword. When you get that at WoW.
Oh, my goodness. The flash chompers. Bear's going to die for the 4th one for Macau, who ignores him. Lets the red buff take it and changes his mind, wants to kill Zycro as well, and Macau really knows how to play
up here as well.
Yeah, Revolta looking for something. Preyseeker's going to find him as well, considering the fact that that passive was there for Julio Zito, but
he also spotted the ward over the wall, so able to at least get some control back over his side of the map. Zycro going to come back down. Needs to be careful here as another...
This was already an awful lane, though.
Yeah.
Like, an awful matchup.
Yeah, it certainly was. As we said, when you get the BF sword, you normally swap back. You're able to get the good matchup. He got it like 5 minutes early, and from there, it's just going to be bad news as now Tokkers is also coming down.
Yeah, he's flashed over. Bear's still level 1. This looks awful. Both summoner spells now blown. Zycro with a nice spell shield, but that is not going to be enough. Meanwhile, on the top side of the map, Yang picks up a kill solo. And Revolta's taking down the Dragon. This is probably one of the most accelerated games that I have ever seen.
Yeah, they're also going to grab probably a turret for themselves because they have a Jinx with minigun and BF Sword and Janus Shield like ripping through that turret in the bottom lane. So that's nearly going to go down at the 7-minute mark in a 2v2 lane now.
Good news, though. Reggie's got a CS advantage.
Yeah, Reggie got a CS advantage. IWCI just killed Jang in the top lane,
True.
so able to pick up something in response. But KLG, they're already 3,400 gold behind, and INTZ just look dominating.
INTZ look like they've got something to prove. Again, having some pretty decent breakfast. I mean, we said this about them yesterday, that things must have gone right for them in the morning.
Apparently it's the sleep.
Yeah.
Sleep is good.
Well, I can tell you a thing or two about that spawn is Macau. He's able to just completely zone away. Picks up the bottom lane outer turret. Julius Dito looking for Tockers, but not going to find it. Did still have the flash available. Tremor Sense just going to let them know exactly where the Ahri is. Also their eyes, as we are going to have first evolution to come down from Reggie in this lane. So a little bit of health back to be gained from that Twin Fang.
Yeah, so able to sustain a little bit better in lane as we see Revolta peeking his head in as well. Ultimate not yet available for Tockers. They just want to sweep out that pink ward that Reggie placed down, waste some of the gold on the map, and we'll be able to do that. Reggie doing the smart thing, cheating towards the top side of the map now that he knows where Revolta is.
Yeah, and Macau actually wanting to rotate through.
Yeah, because he wants to pick up every turret now on the map. He's already got boots too and a pickaxe versus just a pickaxe, AD carry versus AD carry. It's a ring and a ruby crystal coming through for Helios, so he has absolutely no chance of standing toe-to-toe as IWCI goes in.
Yeah, he's looking for Jox to hit Eye of the Storm. Not going to be able to do too much as the red buff able to definitely get rid of this Janna from the jungle side of KLG. But Macau, this is just so scary for KLG.
It certainly is, but they weren't able to... Oh, wow.
Oh, the Flame Chopper's here as well. Helios just sort of very worried about what to do. Super Mega Death Rocket locks down the kill. And this is supposed to be the tank in the top lane, but how are you supposed to be at 9 minutes into the game? How can you weather the storm of BF Sword, Pickaxe, Boots too?
Yeah, exactly right. And they've transferred Siren into the bottom lane. He's died once, but he's also picked up a kill for himself. Already has some armor coming through there with a little bit more of a cost-efficient build over the Catalyst of the Protector, which is, of course, great sustain when it's built up.
And it's good when you're sitting in lane and you need to sort of heal off some harass, but
yeah,
Helios just going to get outright killed over and over again by Macau.
Yeah, so there's no way they can stop this. And Macau, he's rotated, taken the second turret now in the top lane. Before 10 minutes into the game, it's like a 7,000 gold advantage coming over to INTZ, and they might be... IWCI going so aggressive. Why aren't they fighting?
Yeah, they're looking for something. On the hunt has been popped. Reggie going to pick up the second kill, for KLG. Joxter is falling low. Yang right in amongst it. Macau getting the rockets off, though. Doesn't pick up the first kill just yet. Gets excited, but there's the ultimate decimating smash. Doesn't quite find it. Here is Reggie coming through. The exhaust goes down. Flashes out of the way, but Tockers wants to pick up the kill. Doesn't get there. Zycro, can he find it? No. Legendary is Macau at 10 minutes into the game. And that's pretty ridiculous for a Jinx.
Yeah, it certainly is, and he fires
Super
off the
Mega
rocket
Death
to the
Rocket from
base.
downtown. Will he get it? No, he's not going to be able to get anything.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, they were on the fountain.
Yeah, no, but Reggie, he was really low before, so he was just trying to go for it.
There was a time when he was low.
But Infinity Edge and Boots 2 finished up at 10 minutes 41 Atlas. That is absolutely mammoth coming through from Macau. We saw him nearly fall down because a very good team fight actually coming through from Reggie. He was able to get a 3-man Petrifying Gaze and get the first kill in that fight with some very good Twin Fangs coming through there. But in the end, it just wasn't enough. And you feel that with this large of a lead right now, INTZ can rotate through and continue to wreck structures.
Yeah, and you can see Macau definitely building to his playstyle here as well. He's picked up a couple of gloves. He really wants to be punching the members of KLG. You saw him right underneath that turret on the top side of the map, wants to be taking down these structures. And I really like that as far as cost-effective, extra-critical strike is concerned, because he could have picked up the Avarice Blade, but he doesn't care about money. He wants effective stats because he's winning the game already.
Yeah, exactly right. And he's able to use that gold to go for fights right now as Revolta. He has the zone, forces people away from the turret. Macau's going in again.
Yeah, he's got excited. Look at that first attack as Revolta throws out the ult. Nice flash from Bear is going to get him to safety as he's forced to go back now. Julio Cito heading through the jungle, but man, KLG most definitely on the ropes, and this is a little bit early to be talking about that because it's a 9,000 gold lead at 12 minutes into the game.
Yeah, exactly right. They take another outer turret with a smooth transition into the bottom lane. Warning shot coming through from Tockers, and whoa!
What? That's insane. Half the health.
That was wide auto attack with the rocket. That was pretty impressive.
No, that was filthy. Well, that should be illegal. Leocito is going to get the knock up here onto Yang, who's got a frozen heart. Leocito, you're not going to do anything. Look at the damage from that decimating smash. Accurately named here as this Rek'Sai is in a whole lot of trouble. Another one comes down. Yang is going to get collapsed on by 3 extra members of KLG. He's going to die. Bear picks up the kill. Leocito survives. But when you need 4 people to get rid of... Oh, another rocket. We're looking for it. Picks up the Rek'Sai. He saw it go past his AD carry. Julio Cito, come on, man.
What do you want him to do? Fly somewhere? He doesn't have flash. It moves real quick.
What?
He hasn't even got boots.
Halfway up the mid lane. Petrifying Gaze, though, in the mid lane, ladies and gentlemen. The shutdown on the Jinx comes through. They trade AD carries. Death Sentence not going to find the mark as Monsoon doing a whole lot of healing. Reggie, consistent damage available now, gets exhausted yet again. Jockster, though, right in amongst it. Reggie gets rocketed back into his team with that explosive cast. Julio Cito trying to pick up Tockers. Nice double knock up, but this Ahri also pretty fed. Brilliant charm. The double kill now for Tockers, the mid laner, as he's looking for a little bit of the credit for this victory. Bear, yeah, I don't know whether you're going to be able to contend with this hillbilly Gragas. He's got barrels for days. He wanders away from you because cool guys don't look at explosions. And the Thresh once again going to fall down.
Yeah, so the thing is, right, that right now they didn't have that much of an impressive scoreline before they started that fight with Macau falling down. But they just had so much standing gold over the whole map with all 6 outers coming through that even Reggie, who's farmed pretty well, is 2-1-1, just can't fight them because there is so much standing gold that has gone across.
That's
onto
a
the
Luden's Echo Tockers.
Yeah, he's pretty ridiculous at the moment. Probably
he's a bit of a big deal.
He has a lot of money to actually spend because when you compare Luden's Echo to Archmage,
Archangel stuff.
Yeah, Archangel stuff coming through there, relatively similar gold values, and that's already been finished up by Reggie. You think 4-0-4 with 6
Yeah, he's got another needlessly large run.
So he had another 1,600 gold.
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad at all.
That's just fun.
It certainly is. Julio Cito is going to find Yang, but Yang doesn't care at all. He does pop the ultimate, though, so...
Can he get around the corner? Oh, he braked.
Doesn't quite get there. Macau on his own here in the jungle. Does need to be careful. Takes away some popcorn chickens, but that is all he's going to get. And INTZ with a gigantic lead, almost 13,000 at this stage, now looking to try and find their way into the base. There's the aggressive play from KLG. Chompers go through. Zycro actually getting... Oh my gosh. The Rocket of Destiny not going to get a crit, but the Super Mega Death Rocket's blocked by Bear. Tockers in the meantime going to take down Julio Cito. Jockster with the Flash Nado as Bear's going to get rocketed down. Tockers picking himself up another one, 6-0-4 for the Ahri, and the mid laner now getting a piece of the pie as INTZ with 2 dead looking to try and find an objective they can take. At 15 minutes, it's hard to take down an inhibitor turret.
Yeah, it certainly is. Recall time is not so
friendly.
Recall, yeah. Death time, as I'm talking about, not so long at the moment. They're trying to push in it. Wow.
Oh, what? Reggie flashes over his own ultimate, outplaying himself just a little bit, and is going to die for it. As Zycro throws out a boomerang, just thinking it would be really cool if we had a snake.
So we tried to animation cancel that and get the full length on it as Tockers gets locked up.
Yeah, nice boomerang to come over as well as Zycro does use a decent spell shield, but gets knocked back into the INTZ lineup onto a Lantern. Bear is pretty good at the Thresh. Don't know whether it's going to save them this game. As the base has been broken, INTZ are going to be able to do a lot of damage to this Nexus turret. KLG going for the desperation play. Julio Cito goes down low, but Maokai, he's going to die. Bear gets taken down as well. Tockers, he's the legendary one now. Jinx, of course, the early game carry for our Brazilian lineup. has fallen off a little bit, and it's Ari's turn.
Yeah, able to get in there. They've also got a minion wave crashing into that mid lane turret. They'll be able to take down a second inhibitor at 16 minutes. And
speaking of 16, it's a 16,000 gold lead.
Yeah, that is absolutely mammoth Atlas. Baron hasn't even respawned, but how do you deal with 2 waves of super creeps at 17 minutes into the game? You don't have enough AD or AP to do it.
Baron isn't even going to get the memo for this game, I don't think. He gets a day off.
Well, when you arrive 20 minutes late to a party consistently, you're going to miss some of them.
There's no need to bring that one back up. I'm pretty sure we've suffered enough. It was 20 seconds. Not used to things being 20 seconds old. Okay? At least I didn't say years. Julio Stito not even going to be able to find a raptor camp on this map as KLG, they're scrounging for anything. Somehow INTZ have managed to pick up a couple of dragons in amongst all of this action.
I think they did it by killing it. I'll have to confirm on the replay, but
look,
fairly certain that's
you don't want to jump
out.
to conclusions, Spawn. Reggie going to lock down some of these.
The collapse potentially coming through. There's 5 members in the top lane covering Reggie. 4 members actually, but all of a sudden, INTZ, they're like, we're not falling for that one. We'll just kill your base.
No. KLG, they've noted the fact that, yes, the top side of the map, things are looking okay. We call this the ostrich treatment, when you just ignore the obvious problems occurring on the map. There are super creeps in 2 of their lanes. Top lane's looking good. Yang, though, he's going to engage. There's a decimating smash. Zycro gets locked down, but Helio, he just explodes. Super mega death rocket. That's an execute, not used to do damage at full health, but man, it still looks good as INTZ, they're going to take down the final remaining Nexus turret, and it's a victory at minus what the heck? It's not even 20 minutes into the game is what I was trying to explain. I'm getting a little bit too excited because our Brazilian lineup are looking terrifying.
Yeah, so INTZ secure themselves into the playoffs with that win. 4-2 they finish out, and they absolutely crush the Chaos Latin gamers.
My goodness.
From Latin America to be able to do that one. You see hugs all around. They're relieved now to be able to get in there. And no longer do you want to watch any play INTZ at all. Like, they were the favorites coming in. People thought, okay, maybe they've dropped a couple of games. Maybe we overestimated them. They look pretty damn good.
Yeah, I now understand all of the fear coming through because I just don't understand. How does Jinx get triple kill that early on in the game?
Yeah, so it was all about their support player, Joxer, able to get the knock up onto the members, stop the engage, then got the exhaust down onto Rek'Sai. Rek'Sai so potent in the early game, just wasn't able to do enough, and the split target came through from KLG. They didn't burst down 1 member. Ignite, unfortunately, wasn't as good as Exhaust that early on in the game, and they were able to run away with it. All of a sudden, Macau, who's the beneficiary of Jox's good play, fantastic supporting coming through there, is 3-0-1, recalled, picked up a BF sword, and then just roamed around the map and crushed down every structure to the point that Tockers was like, all of a sudden, I have completed items, I'm going to kill people.
Yeah. And it was very, very scary. But one thing I'd like to note about that level 1 that came through, Julio Stito was sort of walking up towards the members of INTZ, and in the end he flashed defensively, but if he had have flashed into the knock-up, things could have gone a whole lot differently, as we do have the replay.
Yeah, let's take a look at it, and I completely agree with what you're saying. So you see Bear, he's very low, but that damage is also shared between Macau and Joxter. So when we roll this one out, you see Julio Stito's coming in. His flash is available, as you said. So right here, if he had have flashed onto all 3 members, he would have got the immediate knock-up.
Yeah.
So that's without a question. All of a sudden, you've knocked up 3 members. You're getting your big AoE across all of them. Instead, roll it out, and you will see what exactly happens. He gets in close. He gets knocked up. Then he gets exhausted under all 3 of them. So all of a sudden, what could have been an instant knock-up is delayed. He gets chunked out, and then he gets exhausted even more critically. And Helio and Bear, they just can't do anything. It's 3 levels 3 versus a 3, a 2, and a 1. And they have to burn flashes away. The Ignite prioritization, not the best. Revolta able to get out. All of a sudden, kills start falling. Able to get back underneath the turret. Unfortunately, Julio Stito just ran away. Then with the red buff, you can't escape a Jinx. She's going to burn you down. And once again, they leave the kill for Macau. One of the things that we criticize teams for is early game especially, people start smashing buttons when kills are concerned, especially when they're secure kills like that. Instead, very good communication coming through from INTZ. They get all 3 of them onto the exact member they want.
Yeah, well, it's exactly right. And admittedly, Jinx has a lot of early damage just with that minigun. The fact that you have the switcheroo there, you've got the ability to get AoE if you want, but you also have the stacking attack speed. You actually have a lot of damage at level 1 for an AD carry.
Yeah, but she's going up against the highest base damage in the game, which is Maokai. So impressive victory to say the least.
Yeah. He didn't have a Doran's Blade
We do have another replay coming through there. Stop mentioning that build. As we see, this is a solo kill onto Thresh. So straight away they come back into lane and Macau goes berserk. If we roll this one out, he gets right in his face straight away.
That's
as
a
soon
level
as they
1
know
Thresh,
that they're
by the
going
way.
to kill Bear, the knock-up comes through. He flashes, gets the chompers down, and then tears through him. As you mentioned, he lets him burn to death as well, just for some more stylish points. Uses the additional time to force Zycro out of lane. Getting the damage down on Sivir, just as important as killing the Thresh there, because Sivir all of a sudden had no health, was forced to recall around the turret a couple of times, then Ari flew in at level 6, killed Bear again, so Bear's died 3 times, he's still only level 1. And just across the map, anywhere that Jinx went, there was just no reply coming through from KLG. Reggie actually had a fairly good game in the mid lane on Cassiopeia, whilst the rest of the map sank
he was
quicker than
wondering what
Atlantis.
the heck was going on.
Yeah. It was absolutely horrible coming through from everywhere else. But he had a relatively good game. In the jungle fight especially, he got the 3-man ultimate across. Looked like he was actually going to turn it around.
Yeah, it was looking fantastic. Of course, got exhausted in that particular fight. You have to think that was a lot of the reason why KLG didn't look a little bit better at the end. And if they had have managed to take that fight, that would have been absolutely unbelievable, because having sort of fallen so far behind.
Killing an 8-0-1 Jinx outright is pretty impressive when you've just been forced to farm in the mid lane against the Ahri. So credit to Reggie. He really was trying to do good things for his team. I think KLG, credit to them overall, because they did try to fight fire with fire. And with such an aggressive lineup with such as INTZ, you really do have to go head-to-head with them. I think that teams will be, I guess, afraid to do that. But if that goes the opposite way, all of a sudden you've built this snowball up for yourself. And they definitely did have tools to be able to win that first engage.
Yeah, well, it's true. And we'll see whether Julio Stito has learnt. But ladies and gentlemen, we do have an interview.
You just had the most convincing victory in the whole tournament. And did you guys expect a victory like this? Or was this a surprise for you as well?
I think it was a surprise, actually. We didn't expect to win like that with that comp, because it was an scaling comp. So usually your spike is at 25 minutes or something like that when you had to have some items. But this game, in the early game, they was just very sloppy. So we could get I got a triple kill at 3 minutes or something. And I just got a BF sword, so the game was out of control.
So you just made it in the semifinals. Which team do you want to see as your opponent?
I don't think I have a preference. Everything on the same is good. So, yeah, I don't have a preference. We will study the team we're going to play against, and it will be fine.
Okay. So, you guys are so hyped up in Brazil in the social media. Is there anything you want to say to your supporters, to your fans?
I just want to say keep supporting us. It's very great to have you guys doing that. And we will make you proud again. I already said that, but just reinforcing it.
So thanks so much for the interview. Now we're back to Zenit.
And Macau there just saying that, yes, we had a scaling comp, but if I get a BF sword at 5 minutes, all right, we'll just roll with it.
Yeah, exactly right. And that just gets the scaling going even earlier. Jinx, she's great when she does pick up that BF sword. Even better if you get it at the 3-minute mark.
It'd be really cool if she could start with it. But ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be INTZ picking up another victory, looking brilliant today. Looked brilliant yesterday as well. But after this, we do have the Chiefs taking on Bangkok Titans. This is going to be a massive game that decides a whole lot of things there in the top of the standings. I'm not going to go into it, but we are going to have a short break, and we'll be back very soon.